What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today on Madden 21, and of course, you already know the grind is back and real. We're doing another video that we have done for 3, maybe 4 Maddens in a row now. We are doing our top 10 most overpowered position switches in the game. Now, it used to be all based on overalls. However, we got a little more in depth with it because before it was like, okay, Larry Fitzgerald at tight end, he's sick. This guy at this position, he's sick. But now it's kind of some peculiar actual set names, but mostly positional. So there's going to be a few of you guys, maybe even a lot of you guys that know a decent bit of these. But hopefully by the end of this video, you'll actually be surprised to find out maybe you didn't know one of these, or maybe even a few. Hell, some of you might have picked up Madden for the first time, and you're like, okay, that's pretty sick. Also, for some of these, it's going to be positional or situational. It's going to be based on, are you doing a fantasy? Are you doing a rebuild? Are you not playing the games at all? Are you playing in the franchise? Are you only making it realistic? Are you only making a fantasy? Are you trying to get the weirdest things going? What's the case? So not all of this is going to affect you per se, but one of the guys that had to be on the list, of course, is Mr. Taysom Hill. Now, of course, what is he? A wide receiver? He's a QB? He's a running back? Now, I'm going to show you what he does go to. He goes to a 72 overall at running back. Unfortunately, though, he's like a 60-something at wide receiver. So, if you're not going to put him at running back, you're not going to keep him at QB, tight end seems to be the most, makes the most sense because he goes up to a 73 overall. A 90 speed, 89 excel, 73 overall tight end is definitely not bad. Now, I don't really think the Saints themselves need a tight end. However, even if it's just for 1 year, even if it's just a random league where you're just messing around, Taysom Hill probably not going to cost you much because he's a 65 overall. It's a fast little tight end. I'm just saying. Keyword on the little because he's kind of short. Now, for this one, it's a little debatable because at the end of the day, he's the best fullback, and this will be an overall drop. However, for me personally, you guys know if you watch my rebuilds, I don't really care for fullbacks. I mean, sometimes I don't even have them active. So for me, switching Kyle Juszczyk to a tight end might make more sense. Obviously, maybe not as the actual Niners, but you do drop 9 overalls. Of course, that's harsh, but I believe tight ends with superstar development or better do get a longer career than fullbacks, if I'm not mistaken. So 29-year-old Juszczyk might last longer, potentially. I can't guarantee that, but potentially. Catching's not super great, however, very solid blocker, and once again, superstar development. So this one's super low on our list. A little gimmicky, but mainly for those players like me who almost never has a fullback in. So if you don't, and you have Kyle Juszczyk, maybe move him to tight end, good blocking tight end, backup, whatever it may be. Decent there. I tried to put him at lineman. It was too much of a reach. Now back on that's the wrong team. Back on the topic of fullbacks and tight ends. Once again, maybe not if you're actually the Cardinals. However, Max Williams, a guy that usually does hit free agency. He's a 75 overall, a little on the slower side. However, you may know him as a decent blocker. And if you do use fullbacks, you know that it's not super easy to get fullbacks. So Max Williams actually goes up from a 75 overall to a 76 when he moves over to fullback. Decent catching, but of course you see that route running is kind of rough. What really makes him decent, though, is very, very high blocking stats for a tight end / fullback. So that'll be our number 8. A little low on the list, nothing too special. Now, before we go any further, I know, a little bit of a sellout, but if you guys do like these videos, these style of videos, and you just want to see more Madden 21 content, maybe like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. That's it. I'm done. Moving on to number 7. This one, I'll be honest, some of these have been a little bit of a sell. However, if you're doing a fantasy or you're doing a rebuild, whatever it may be, you'll know that punters, especially young ones, are kind of hard to get. Joey Sly isn't technically a punter. However, he does go to a 74. Did he start at 74? Regardless, he's a 74 overall punter. And the reason why that's kind of noteworthy is because he does have 98 kick power and 76 kick accuracy. Of course, there are other players you could do this with, obviously. But the moment you change him, he becomes the strongest kick power punter in the league. And of course, if you look at the ages, I'd imagine he's very low on the age comparatively. You know, you have Dixon and these other guys that are kind of higher overall. But Joey Sly, 24-year-old, 98 kick power punter. You basically have him for, what, another decade? Where if you compare him to some of the other guys who are obviously a lot lower in kick power, I mean, you're seeing some really low overalls outside of maybe Braden Mann. I mean, there's not even that many great. And Braden Mann's like 94, 95. So, you know, you're losing quite a bit. I put him at number 7. Kind of just a super unrealistic one, but a fair one to bring up because obviously kickers and punters are easy to trade for. And, yeah, I mean, they're easy to trade for, but you're not going to get a 98 kick power one, are you? Now, for this one, I did this last year. I don't know why. I know why, but I really like tall safeties and corners. So, Anthony Barr comes in at number 6 because he's an 80 overall linebacker, outside linebacker at that, which obviously is already a boost of an overall. And then when you change into free or strong safety, he bumps up to an 81 overall, 87 speed, 88 excel, 88 agility. Super strong, super tall. It's a tough guy to stop. And, you know, obviously you could do this with some other players, you know, other guys with high tackling, you know, maybe good speed. Let's see if we can find an example before we go. I mean, Noah Dawkins is a good example. 60 overall flat, goes to a 63 overall at free safety. So fast, maybe good zone coverage, good tackling linebackers moving to safety. There's a couple of teams that have decently fast guys at linebacker and no safety. It's a move. You know, it's not necessarily Anthony Barr to safety, but linebacker to safety is a very viable position switch. Now, of course, this one's very obvious again, but some people just don't know, you know, because in real life you would think, you know, hey, a guy like Shaq Mason probably can't play tackle, but in Madden, it doesn't matter so much. However, I said this before, Tristan Wirfs, in Madden specifically, he's just built to play guard. Of course, he is a 71 at tackle, moves to a 73 overall at guard. Usually, tackles going to guard do upgrade, and vice versa doesn't work so well, but 77 speed, 83 excel. I don't know about the change of direction for linemen now. I don't know if that matters, but excel and speed is just off the charts. Too high, in my opinion, to play tackle. Obviously, it helps to have athletic tackles as well, but overall, just a great decision to move a guy like Tristan Wirfs. Maybe if you want to go wild with Becton on the inside, but yeah, basically this one is kind of putting linemen in their proper position according to their, you know, their speed and excel. You know, don't have a super slow guy on the inside and then a fast guy on the outside if you're going to be doing pitches and stretches. So that's basically number 5. And now number 4 is another kind of in general one, but linebackers or safeties with good or decent block shed, maybe a little bit of hit power and tackle. Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams, though, 91 overall strong safety, and if we were able to move him already, we would show you that he actually does stay the exact same overall moving down to linebacker. And obviously, you know, everyone gushes over Isaiah Simmons. They gushed over Devin White and Devin Bush. This is those guys, but with better hit power and already an X factor. You know, you decide what you want more. Do you want a strong linebacker or a strong safety? I want the linebacker. I would definitely move Jamal Adams inside if you don't have those kind of moral compass like, oh, but is he really a linebacker? If you just want the glitchiest players, a 95 hit power linebacker, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the strongest linebacker you can get, right? Oh, Rashaan Evans is 96 now. That is impressive. So the second strongest you can get. Where does Bobby rank? 92, really interesting. Rashaan Evans is 96. Nice stuff. But yeah, linebacker to safety, safety to linebacker, but more importantly, Jamal Adams to linebacker is definitely super good because, once again, he becomes the second strongest hitter. And, of course, with that speed, technically he's the strongest and with his abilities. Now, here's one you almost definitely did not know, but if you take a guy, if I can find him, I'm just going to have to go to the team. This is a little bit of a debatable one because, of course, the Chargers have a clear-cut starter in Austin Eckler. However, if you move Mr. 85 overall Austin Eckler to tight end, I know this is strange, he actually remains a 76 overall. And you're probably thinking, oh, this is just cheese, man. We've seen stuff like this all the time. I bet you every running back's going to be good there. You would think that, right? Let's take an example for Derrick Henry, who looks like almost the perfect clear-cut one-to-one to tight end or wide receiver, which we can't show because they're lacking. If you move Derrick Henry to tight end, he's only a 60 overall. You know, he's very fast, super big, probably decent at blocking, can truck people over and whatnot. Doesn't even compare to little Austin Eckler. Now, once again, morally, I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, but if you're trying to cheese, you're trying to be weird, 5'10", 92 speed at tight end is obviously by far the fastest. And of course, he has some pretty decent receiving stats. I'd imagine his blocking's got to be decent if they're going to give him this rating, right? Pass block's good. Run block is meh. But yeah, Austin Eckler. And some others, there are a few others. I don't think any of them really maintain their overall as well, though. I think Saquon, who is like, what overall is Saquon? Saquon's 91. He goes down to a 73. McCaffrey goes down to an 80. And then I believe there was one more. Chubb goes way down to like a 60. But yeah, for the most part, Kamara goes on like a 75, 76. But yeah, the best one-to-one conversion is Mr. Eckler. I don't maybe recommend it because once again, it's kind of weird. But if you're trying to cheese with that speed, there you go. Now we have another kind of in general one. Obviously, with a guy like Isaiah Simmons, you can probably pretty much play him anywhere. I'm actually kind of curious. Can he play DT? It'd be kind of weird, but you never know. Not terrible considering. But for me, obviously a fast linebacker is sick, right? Like let's take a look at middle linebacker. Probably going to be a decent low overall, right? 75, maybe would it be like an 80 at outside? We'll take a quick look as that as well. Why not? We're already here. 77, 77, 78 linebacker and whatnot. But imagine a faster, in the prime, superstar development Richard Sherman. Isaiah Simmons at 6'4", 238 pounds, 93 speed, 93 excel, and a bunch of hip power is a 77 rookie at cornerback. That is absolutely nuts. It definitely fits at number 2. Once again, usering linebacker is obviously, it's nice because it's fast. He's fast, but in this year's game, usering seems a little more off. So having a guy that's 6'4", basically can't be jump balled, and hell, even guys like Tyreek might not be able to burn him. Isaiah Simmons at corner isn't the craziest thing. It really isn't. And of course, it doesn't just go based off him. Anyone with decent man coverage can make the switch from safety to corner. So if you're like me and you kind of just say, give me a young, fast guy at safety, I'll let him develop, and I'll put the guy with development already at corner, go for it. Minka started as a corner, put him at corner. Devin could fit corner if you want. Kendall Fuller should be corner. Tyron back in the slot. There's a lot of options for safety to corner. I just thought Isaiah Simmons was absolutely nuts with his 77 overall 6'4" self at corner. Ridiculous stuff. Let me know what position you would play Isaiah Simmons with if you're using the Cardinals or you're going to trade for him in your franchises. I don't know. It's tough. I would say it's got to be linebacker or corner, right? Not safety. Never a chance. Now, for a few honorable mentions that probably should have been on there, wide receiver to tight end, guys like Mike Evans, maybe a Metcalf. The bigger wide receivers going to tight end, 94 overall. Larry Fitzgerald usually goes up to near a 90, maybe even higher from wide receiver. Another super honorable mention that I wouldn't dare do, but 77 overall, Garrett Bradbury goes to a 72 overall at fullback. And of course, I believe he does start out with Superstar. Are we going to see that? I don't think we will. Or Superstar. I think he does start out with Star. So, do what you want, but obviously the wide receiver tight end one, that one's fair. And now for number 1, the 3-4 years running clear-cut champion, wide receiver to running back, specifically guys that can juke or are fast. No slow guys that can stiff arm or not. John Ross, you can see, goes up, 7 overalls there, something like that. 82 overall, super fast. Guys like Tyreek, I would assume, actually I already know that Tyreek is clearly going to be a 99 overall at running back. There's some other guys, though, like what is Ruggs at running back? I would never recommend it for, these types of guys like Ruggs because they're just going to do more damage as an actual receiver. But Henry Ruggs becomes the fastest guy right above John Ross at running back. 80 overall, maybe a little bit lower than you would expect just because he's not super athletic in the game, change of direction, agility, juke move, and all that. But yeah, clear-cut number one, as always, is going to be the wide receiver going over to running back position. I wouldn't do it, but maybe you would. I mean, Cordero Patterson's actually listed as a running back in the game right now, but you can see Curtis Samuel jumps super high. There's a lot of guys that'll jump 7, 8 overalls, maybe more, pretty much the majority of them moving over to running back. So definitely on there. You could have maybe put Lamar at right. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. But anyways, that is going to be the once annual top 10 overpowered position switches in Madden, this version being Madden 21. Of course, plenty more Madden 21 content to come today, tomorrow, the next day. I don't know when I'll stop. I don't know when I'll slow down. But if you guys did enjoy this video, this type of video, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at Jeromepkr. Check out my twitch.tv/Jeromepkr, and then the second channel PKR plays. Regardless, though, if there was anyone I missed, any position group I missed, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you're going to use any of these, or if you have some sort of specific player that you know in one of these categories that is glitchy as hell, running back to wide receiver or tight end, something like that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you come back for the next video, but until next video, see ya!